All right, all right. We are live once more. Once more, we got another episode of Evil Live tonight with a special guest. We got my pops in the building, Mr. Tyrone Edwards. Speaking
What's
about
up? What's up?
welcome, man, welcome. It's a blessing to have you on the show. Speaking about my favorite topic, horror.
Right,
One
right.
of your favorite topics as well. So I guess we could get into it. What got you into the horror genre?
Uh, Way back in the day, like this before color TV. I used to watch that Dark Shadows was one of my favorites. And then I got into the Creature double features on Saturday. Creature double feature and Dr. Shock.
Oh,
And
okay.
my friends used to be knocking on the door like, come on outside. It'd be Saturday, everybody outside. I'd be like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'll be out soon as my shows go off. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Dark. Was it dark?
Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows. Yeah, I saw the remake, but I did see they have it streaming the OG one. They got it streaming on a lot of streaming platforms right now.
Yeah, yeah. Barnabas was no joke.
Oh yeah. It's definitely one of those gems. Those gems that people keep bringing up because it's stood the test of time.
Right,
It's
right.
definitely stood the test of time. Now, do you have, as far as horror, do you have a favorite subgenre, like a whether it be like witches or zombies or demons, something that just like draws you in?
Well, I have a couple. I have the zombies and then the vampires. I'm a big anything vampire, I'm gonna watch. Especially if it's a lot of action. You know what I'm saying? Even like the you know, Asian movies, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a big vampire and zombies, but I'm a vampire first, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay. So do you have any favorite like vampire movies that stick out to you?
Uh I can't remember the name of them, but uh what's the name of this? Black Hill was one, because that's when I was growing up, you know.
Yes.
But even like the Lost Boys, you know, what's the other ones? Well, they got the vampires and the werewolves in it though.
Is that Underworld?
The Underworld. But what's the other one? It's like a love story.
Oh, Twilight.
Twilight. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Underworld, you know what I mean? Underworld is one of my favorites I could watch. You know, I could watch those over and over again, and I can watch the other ones too. But Underworld, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I just remember Underworld was raw. They came with the heavy action aspect of it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, and I like
zombies.
the fact that anything that the vampires and werewolves are going to be, battling. I'm with it.
Oh yeah. Vampires and leather. Vampires and leather. Like you can't go wrong with that. You can't go
Yeah,
wrong with that. But shout out to some of the people in the chats right now. We got shout out to Soothing Smooth. Jaleesa showing some love. Shout out to Mika. Double horror pack. Thank you for stopping in. Getting to know Pops a little bit. And his taste for the macabre. So to speak. So um, growing up, we would take our trips to Blockbuster, or sometimes like rarely, Hollywood Video, and go to the horror section. Like what made the horror section be like that standout section for you to go to? Because I remember every time we would go there, and whether it would be like the big name movies or like the more independent movies, which now it's a little bit more easier because we have, I feel like, reviews online and people's opinions and stuff like that. So we can sort of like filter out a lot of the trash. But back
Right,
then,
right.
you just counted on that cover, you
Yeah.
know.
That's what it was for me. I just walked through the aisle, and if the cover grabbed me, then I was like, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah,
You know, some of them was a dud, some of them was good. You know what I mean? Some of them was, real good, but some of them was a dud. But it wasn't that much, so I wasn't tripping. Yeah.
gotcha. Now we got Mika. She says, so many great vampire movies. Underworld is a fun one. Yes, I will 100% agree. 100% agree. You know, speaking of duds, I remember we had went to the movie theater once, and
Here we go.
we saw M. Night Shyamalan's one of his films, The
Yeah.
Village.
And I
You know,
still say, if I ever run into him, I want my money back. You know what I'm saying?
but what was so bad about that
It
movie?
wasn't what I expected. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Gotcha,
nothing what I expected at all. You know what I
gotcha.
mean? But I
So,
tried, he got a lot of good ones. I gave him a try after that.
okay,
But, The Village didn't do nothing for me.
okay. Did you check out The Visit?
Yeah, I checked out The Visit. The Visit good.
Oh yeah. You know, I feel like he's hit or miss, but it's some out there that I think uh they play with the audience's expectations with these trailers.
Right, right.
So a lot of times, you may see something and you may or you may pay to see something and you may be like, okay, this is what I'm getting into. Even though at the ending of The Village, I was like, I had to give him his props because I'm like, oh man, I was not expecting that whatsoever. But I know that a lot of people, I was in the minority. Like a lot of people were like, let's go, let's give me my money back.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me my money back.
Like I say, he owed me one. Straight up. I'm just being honest. He owed me one. And I'm going to let him know if I ever run into him. Straight up.
All right, now Sue the Swoop says, I agree when it comes to The Village. It was one of the worst. Mika says, I love The Village. I understand it, though a lot of people were disappointed. I think I'm on I side with Mika on this stance. I feel like I did like it, but I feel like it played with a lot of people's expectations.
Yeah, it did.
Speaking of expectations, recently we saw Halloween Ends. So how were your feelings on that one?
It wasn't, the Michael Myers that I'm used to seeing. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to seeing a lot of slashing, a lot of this. It wasn't enough of that for me. You know what I mean? It wasn't, and I'm a Michael Myers, fan. Michael Myers, Jason, whatever, you know what I mean? But no.
Yeah.
It was disappointing, just like Halloween 3.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So did you see that in theaters when it first came out?
The who?
Did you see Halloween 3 in theaters when it first came out?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how was the audience reaction for Halloween 3 when it
No, same reaction I had. It had nothing to do with Michael Myers. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about all this season of the witch or whatever it was called. You know what I'm saying? But no, it wasn't. It wasn't hitting for me.
Got you. We also got Natasha Satan in the building. Shout out for stopping by. She said The Village is just so slow for me. Yeah, I agree. It's slow, but it's not for everybody. It's everybody's got their own taste when it comes to that. But back to Halloween. What was the first Halloween movie that you saw in theaters?
The original.
Ooh, the original.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
I mean, it was exciting as hell because you had if you had a female with you and other people had females, they screaming, when she put him down or whatever, and then she turn her back on him, and when he getting up, everybody's like, turn around, turn around, turn around. You know what I'm saying? So it was real exciting for me. You know what I'm saying? You
Okay.
know, I love the suspense of it.
Gotcha. Now you talk about people saying turn around, turn around. So like, because I know the theater experience has evolved a lot. Now they got the laid back seats with the
Right,
food
right.
and the alcohol and
You
stuff
don't
like
get that anymore.
yeah.
You don't hear, when people in the movie theaters and the villain is, coming at the person. You don't
Uh,
hear that, turn around or do this or why you dropped the knife or why you dropped the hatchet. You know what I'm saying? Keep going at him. You know you're gonna get back up, you know what I'm saying? But no, you don't hear none of
yeah. It's I mean, things evolve. I think the last time I had seen like an audience reaction like that for a horror movie was Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
that.
That had a heavy, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It was a lot of laughter in the theater. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
a
a
lot.
big Donald fan. I'm a big fan, from the original, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, the original Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean the remake was good too, but I come from back then with the original, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Got what? It's nothing. It's nothing like seeing the original, especially in theaters for the first time. We got Mika says yes, a classic Halloween 1978. I wish I would love to see it in theaters. It had to be a great theater experience.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
how did you feel about my favorite Halloween movie, which was the sequel to that, Halloween 2? The original Halloween 2.
No, yeah, I love that too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, once how all the Halloweens was good for me, except for three. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, I love, all of them except for that one and the last one.
Okay. What about the Busta Rhymes, Halloween Resurrection? That was controversial. I had a lot of fun with it, but I know it was controversial.
No, I love that. That was good too. You know what I'm saying? I love to see, them put, hip hop artists in, same way they put LL in the joint. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
love
yeah.
when they put hip hop artists in it. It makes people want to go see it and see what they're gonna do in the movie.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
I totally agree. Because growing up seeing Busta Rhymes and Halloween Resurrection and LL Cool J and H2O, even seeing Tyra Banks in Resurrection, just
Yeah.
seeing certain public figures in these movies, it brought me in, brought me in.
You see
What
people that you say, recognize with, you know what I'm saying?
yes. Shout out to Christine. Thank you for stopping by. And she also says, "You see, Halloween 3 sucks." Yes, we did a ranking of all the Halloween movies the other night. I'm gonna actually send you that live. We was on Sledgehammer Horror talking about that one. That one was it was a good episode. Then Mika says, "Yes, Season of the Witch is a love it or hate for many. I think of it as a standalone film. Yeah, I feel like if it was a standalone, it would have been a little bit more receptive, by the general public. Like I still feel like it had a lot of weaknesses, but I feel like it would have been a little bit more accepted by the general public.
But ain't none of them gonna beat the first one. None of them.
Nah, well, I feel like number two, for me personally,
Well, I'm saying I'm gonna give you that one too. Number one and number two.
yeah,
Nothing is up. None of the Halloweens are touching those two.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes. And Natasha Satan says, bust the most black people in any Halloween movie. Yes, you get somebody black in a Halloween movie, it's always a joyous occasion. It's always a joyous occasion. And then Christine says, I agree, Mika, minus the perverted doctor. Yeah, we had some commentary on the doctor in Halloween 3. Like he was a little creepy, had a little creepy because going and watching a lot of these movies back now, you see a lot of things that wouldn't necessarily fly, especially that flew in the 80s.
Right.
that flew, that wouldn't necessarily fly today. Now, do you have a favorite decade of horror?
Mm, I'm gonna say that the '80s for me. You know what I'm
Oh, okay.
saying? The '80s for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna say the '80s because that's when I was taking girls to the movies and everything. You take a girl to a horror movie, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. Cause they jumping right in your lap. You know what I'm saying? So the '80s for me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I love the '80s. The '80s is probably my favorite genre of horror as well. Probably because of you. You introduced me to so many '80s horror films. Which you introduced me to one, which was they released it the day after my birthday, which was Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
The original Night of the Demons. Like, how was your reaction when you first saw that one? Because it scared the shit out of me.
No, I mean there's a lot of movies that scare, that when I was a chicken back in the day when I was a kid watching all these horror movies. I ain't played, the dark, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember I had to go down the basement. We had oil heat. I had to go down the basement, but the light string was downstairs.
Yeah.
And I had to go downstairs to pull the string. And my sister shut the door and locked it. Oh man. My mom got so mad because I kicked the door. I kicked the lock off the door. I was like, no, don't play with me like that. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't play that. I don't play them games.
Which is hilarious because I remember growing up, in the Scream area, in the Scream era, and I was, getting out the shower one day, and for whatever reason, I had the curtains open, and I just see somebody creeping outside the window with a Scream mask, and it scared the hell out of me. It turned out to be you. Like it still affected me.
Oh man,
I remember it to this day.
I fell out dying laughing because all you was you looked, and then you got closer. You said, "Mom," took off. I was dying.
Yeah, it's memories. We got Jeffrey in the building. Shout out. What up, cousin? What up, cousin? Mika says, yes, the 80s had some of the best horror movies. Yes, I agree. Christine says, Night of the Demons was super creepy. They held nothing back in the 1980s. They showed more gore back then than now. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Which brings me to another classic, which I'm wearing the T-shirt right now because I specifically remember my first experience seeing this movie with you. It was on a 13-inch TV. We had went to Blockbuster. He was like, "Did you ever see Evil Dead?" I'm like, "No."
Oh man.
And just remembering that scene where she's playing cards, and it stuck with me. Like I had trouble going to sleep that night.
Yeah, that was one of the horror movies that scared me, and I was an adult. It scared the hell out of me.
So how was your first time like seeing that? Did you catch that one in theaters?
Yeah, I mean it was one of them type movies where when you go home and you start hearing things, you know what I'm saying, and you're like, hold on, what's that? What's that sound? You know what I'm saying? But that scared, demons scare me more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they got good special effects, you know what I'm saying? And the actors play their part the way they play their part.
Yeah.
That shit scares the shit out of me. Because I don't play with demons.
Oh no. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I think that's the subgenre that spooks me the most. Is demons. Because it's
vampires. When I was a kid, it used to be vampires, and I used to have nightmares. You know what I'm saying? I remember having a nightmare being chased on the subway by vampires when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Then I was having like night terrors where they'll be right over top of me on my bed, and I can't move.
Oh,
I
snap.
can't move. I'm like, I'm just stuck. I'm looking at them, can't move.
Well, that sounds like sleep paralysis. That
Yeah.
sounds yeah, you might have had an episode of sleep paralysis right there.
Well, I thought they call them night terrors.
Well, yeah, either night terrors, sleep paralysis. Like I was telling Jaleesa, they call it old hag syndrome because a lot of people experience like an old woman sitting on their chest. You know, they would call it old hag syndrome. You know, Jeffrey, he said, ask him about the movie The Head.
The who?
The Head. You remember that one? He'll remember that one. Now, Christine says demons are fun. And Mika says, yeah, demons and possession films always freak me out. You know, those are top tier for me.
You see, I don't play with demons. I don't play with Ouija boards. I don't play with seances. None of that. You know what I'm saying? So we used to do that shit when we was kids. And some crazy shit happened. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't. I've never dibbled or dabbled into the seance or the Ouija board. You know, just that whole side of life. Especially, you know, growing up, we had some paranormal experiences in the house. You know, in California.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, for real. I remember I was laying in the bed. And the other side of the bed lowered like somebody got in it. And there wasn't nobody there. Freaked me the fuck out. I mean, freaked me out. And I always knew there was a presence in the house, but I paid it no mind because I said if I pay it some mind, then it's gonna fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? So I paid it no mind. But that shit scared the shit out of me. It ain't only happened to me though. You know what I'm saying?
I understand because I've seen a few things. You know, I've seen entities, you know, walk the hallways, and then somebody else pop out the corner, and they're like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that." You know, so it's crazy that it was just like a normal thing.
No, because I used to feel it like I'd be walking down the hallway and I could just feel it walking right behind me. But I just you know, pay it no mind because I was like, I ain't gonna let it freak me out because if I let it know that I'm freaked out about it, it's gonna continue to fuck with me.
And that's the story of Annabelle right there. You know, if they didn't give it power, you know, then it wouldn't have rocked their world like it did, you know, in that movie. Now, if you could name a film that you wish you could have been on the set for, you know, what film would that have been? A horror film?
I'm gonna say Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, the original.
I'm not gonna say the original. I'm gonna say the remake.
Oh, okay, the remake. Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a remake.
Because I would love to be in there with Ving Rhames. You know what I mean? Knocking them zombies' heads off. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah. You know, Jaleesa, she always talks about that movie because of the zombie baby in that movie.
Yeah,
that was the first time that I saw a zombie baby. It was outrageous. It was outrageous. It was a fun time though. Dawn of the Dead remake was definitely a fun time. Now, could you name some of your? I know you had named Blackula before, but could you name some of your favorite black horror movies? You know, from the past.
Blackula was one of the ones that I the most, and I'm gonna say JD's Revenge, which really wasn't a horror. It was like a more suspenseful. You know what I'm saying?
It was still classified in the horror section.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But those two really was the ones, and then they had it was an Asian joint. Damn, I can't remember the name. But basically it was 7 brothers who was fighting these vampires, you know what I'm saying? But they was doing, and the vampires were doing karate too though. I was a big karate fan back then too. Bruce Lee, all that, you know what I'm saying? Jim Kelly, everything, you know.
Was it something Train? Because I think
it wasn't Bruce. I know what you're talking about. This was a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, this came back. Came out in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But but Blackula was the one of the main ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as black exploitation movies. You know what I'm saying? JD's Revenge. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if Ben was a horror.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But Ben and Socrates, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Y'all brought me the what was it, the cassette?
Yeah,
or DVD. The DVD for the double DVD of Ben and the Willard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I remember getting the mom had got the bootleg of Willard, of the remake.
The remake, yeah.
That's what you told me about Ben and the original Willard and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I was like, Willard is actually number 1, and Ben is number 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I actually cried on Ben.
Well, it's probably was a kid when you seen it. It's especially you got Michael Jackson doing the song and everything. So you gotta do what you gotta do. We got Natasha. She says the remake was dope. Yes, definitely. And then Blackula. Mika says Blackula is a good one. Would you ever like to see like a continuation or a remake of Blackula?
Oh, definitely. I would like to see a remake, definitely. Especially with the special effects that they have nowadays and stuff like that there. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. Now, did you ever see Sugar Hill or Abby?
Sugar Hill, no, Abby, yeah, back in the day.
So what did you think of Abby? Because that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But what's that other one? Rabbit. You ever see Rabbit?
Nah. That came out in the 70s or
yeah.
70s?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up.
But they have a remake too that just came out not too long ago.
Okay.
But Rabbit was one of the ones, you know what I'm saying?
I gotta check that one out.
Not Rabbit. Like the rabies.
Like the rabies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta add that to the
Yeah,
list.
Rabbit was good too though.
Hopefully Tubi got it, so I can add it to the list, So now I have another question for you. What was a movie that you wish that you could have seen for the first time again?
There's a lot of movies I could see for the first time again, but
like just to get that experience again, because like the first time for me, I would want to see the first Saw again, just to see, just to not know that he was laying there the whole time.
I'm gonna say Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay. The remake or the original?
I'm gonna say the original.
Okay.
I mean, the remake is good too, but
the original.
I'm gonna say the original. You know what I'm saying? Because it scared the fuck out of me. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid watching that.
Yeah. So how was that being a kid and seeing that for the first time, especially like the black man being the protagonist?
It was crazy. You know what I mean? The whole movie, it had me on. I'm a kid, but I'm on the edge of the couch, like I don't want to miss nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like really into it. And whatever is around me going on, I done tuned all that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was one. It's a classic, and it's one of them great ones. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. It
I mean, the remake is good too, but if they, I wish they could just put the classic and put it in color.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be something. That'd be something.
Yeah.
You know, because they always redoing it. I even think they made like an animated version of it. You know, so they always trying to reinvent new ways for us to digest that one.
Yeah, even though they remade Carrie, I would like to see that again for the first time.
Okay,
You know what I'm
the
saying?
original when her
Yeah.
hand reached out of the grave.
Oh my God. No, because look, I I wasn't supposed to go to the movies. I was supposed to come home from school and take my ass home. And my uncle friend worked at the Waltons on Shelton Avenue. The movies was $1.
Yeah.
And he would let me in for free. So I go in there, watch the movie and everything. So, everybody starting to get up and go, right? So I'm sitting there like, hold up, it ain't over yet. But when that hand came up, shoo, scared the shit out. And after that, I didn't want to go to no graveyards. I even met my cousins. Look, my cousin Spanky got killed, and I sat in the car. I'm like, no, I ain't getting out. I'm cool. I see y'all when y'all get back.
It had that much of an impact.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I was not playing around. No graveyards.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Mika says Night of the Living Dead is such a great film, one of the best zombie films. Hell yes, I totally agree. You know, and Carrie being a Stephen King film, how did you feel about it when it came out? You know, the miniseries.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't really a It fan. You know what I'm saying? I was more like Stephen King, Pet Cemetery. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Pet Cemetery.
You
Yes.
know, that scared the shit out of me. Especially the first one.
Yeah.
Scared the fucking shit out of me.
Well, she was sick in bed. Like
oh my god. Oh my god. Even a little boy, creepy ass little boy, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hell no. Look, those was one of them joints where my feet not hanging off the bed, none of that. You know, my feet is tucked in the covers. Oh, yep, I ain't playing around.
No, I understand. It definitely had a lot of creep factors in that.
Yeah.
Film. It definitely did.
That little boy was creepy as hell, though. I'm like, hell no. No.
Speaking of little people, like how did you feel about the first time that you saw Chucky when that first came?
That was more of a funny horror movie to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't really like scary. You know what I'm saying? It was more funny scary to me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like Chucky didn't really scare me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, you know what I mean? It was just more funny scary, like Return of the Living Dead, you know what I'm saying? That was funny scary, you know what I'm saying? And especially part 2.
Oh yeah. Part 2 was wild, but you put me on to Return of the Living Dead as well, and that one is one of my favorites, of all time. Like probably my favorite, zombie movie of all time because it had so many memorable moments. And I don't know if it was just, me being a kid and being like, oh, zombies talking like, oh, bring more paramedics.
Yeah.
That was cool, but it lasts. It still lasts with me,
But they started to do that shit like in The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Not talking, but far as now zombies opening doors and shit like that there, you know what I'm saying? Climbing over walls and shit. You know what I'm saying? Even in Return of the Living Dead had that, you know what I'm saying? So that one little boy, I guess he was a bully. But he wanted that. When he turned into a zombie, he was trying to get the other little boy. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you told. You know what I'm saying?
So how did you feel about a movie like, did you see The Good Son?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you feel about that one?
It was a good suspense movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that scared me. It was a good suspense movie, you know what I'm saying? But he was, you know what I mean? He's a little crazy little bastard, you know what I'm saying?
Now, you know, also another one of your favorite movies, Phantasm. You know,
Oh man,
how was that seeing that for the first time?
that was a good one. I forgot about Phantasm, but that was a good one. You know what I'm saying? It scared the hell out of me. That was one of the ones that scared the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was, I think I was about to be a teenager, but just the stuff that was going on
Uh-huh.
with the tall man or whatever they call them, lurch. Well, we called them lurch. You know what I'm saying? But
Uh-huh.
yeah, especially when he snatched him through the door, like boy, and snatched him through the door. That shit. And then dude riding to the cemetery on a motorcycle and his tombstones coming up out the ground and shit and all that shit. I was like, shit. And I still wear his cemetery. I won't walk to the cemetery at night by myself.
Got
You
you.
know what I'm saying? I'll walk to the cemetery in the daytime, but at night, couldn't get me to go.
I'm dipping my toes into it. Like, you know, Jaleesa, she had a pop up at a cemetery. And
Hell no. It'll be pop up this y'all. Nah. Especially if it's at night. Mm-mm.
yeah, I might, you know, I might.
Nah, I don't play around with cemeteries at night. Sorry. I just do some things I just don't do.
Yeah, no, I respect it. I respect it. I respect it.
Because
Now,
I'll be paying attention to every grave instead of paying attention to what I'm supposed to be paying attention to.
yeah.
Because I don't, seeing all these fucking movies and shit. My imagination and playing all these tricks on me. No, I'm good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Mika says pop up this at the cemetery. That's a no-no for me as well. Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. You know, we definitely had fun. We definitely had fun. Jaleesa says, me either. I was freaking out vending at the cemetery. So yeah, it was interesting. It was very interesting, you know, but we was out there, you know, doing what we had to do. Doing what
But
we had.
y'all was crazy as kids. You know what I mean? Y'all had them. I mean, we brought y'all them night vision. What was it? Night vision goggles.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
y'all out there, y'all trying to find ghosts and shit. I'm like, y'all is tripping. We already got one in the house. Why y'all want to invite more? You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all used to be tripping out there. I used to be like, all right, I'll go in my room, shut the door, be like, all right, y'all go ahead, have at it.
So you would never, and you know, even as a youngster, or even as you know, as you are now, you would never be interested in paranormal investigating.
Hell no. No. I mean, after that one seance we had at Miss Mabel's house, I was done.
Gotcha.
I was done. And when I saw what I saw, mm-mm.
Gotcha.
Dang, man, me and Omar hit that back door, hit her back fence, climbed over the fence, and we went around the front of her house and just looked and was like, get the fuck out of here. But we couldn't believe what we saw.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I respect it.
That was the last time I played with some shit like that. Real.
Now Mika has a question. She said, "What is Tyrone Senior's favorite horror film of all time, if he had to choose?"
It's a lot of them, but hold on, let me see. Funny horror or horror,
I would say like horror, something that you know, just that's your favorite of all time.
Well, I'm gonna say really Halloween.
Halloween,
Yeah,
the
the
original.
original.
Got you, got you,
Yeah.
got you. Well, it's a classic. It's a
Yeah.
classic. The music, you know, the
Yeah.
score, everything, you know. It's certain scores that last the test of time, you know, where you could just hear it and automatically pops into your brain, like you
Yeah.
know, Jaws or you know, Psycho.
And far as TV, it would be Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows.
Oh man, that music creeped me out, boy, when I was a kid. I remember we was back Brickyard, and my aunt told me and my cousin Stanley to go downstairs and lock the apartment door.
Yeah.
And Dark Shadows was just coming on. and that music came on, and the hallway and the stairs was dark. And my cousin Stanley tried to, after we locked the door, he tried to leave me, and I grabbed onto his back of his shirt, and he dragged me all the way up the stairs. I'm like, no, hell no, you ain't leaving me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Dark Shadows for sure is one of my favorite classic TV joints. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Now speaking of television, you know, how did you feel about, you know, shows like Tales from the Dark Side or Tales from the Crypt?
Oh yeah, those are ones that, you know, I'll be up all night binge watching. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially when, you know, cable came out. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching anything I could see horror. You know what I'm saying? That's my go-to thing. When cable first came out, I'm watching everything horror. Well, horror and, you know, gangster. You know what I mean? I was a gangster, but mostly horror though.
Yeah.
But horror was my go-to, especially late night. Late night. You know what I'm saying?
That's where it was at. That's where it was at. Even I remember hanging out with Nan, and she would, you know, watch like the prom nights and stuff like that. Like she in the Tales from the Crypt. Like I remember a lot of the times where I would binge Tales from the Crypt on HBO would be over her house.
I didn't know she used to watch them things.
Yeah. She I mean, she didn't tell a lot of people, but yeah, she used to be in the horror a little bit. You know, she used to be into it a little bit. You know.
Yeah, but Tales from the Crypt and all those, you know, them like series type, you know what I mean, TV shows. Yeah, I was into it.
Gotcha.
Like I said, like before cable, we only had Creature Double Feature. That came on Saturdays. Dr. Shock came on Saturdays. You know what I'm saying? And Barnabas, you know what I mean? Dark Shadows. You know what I'm saying? So.
Soothing Smooth says horror and true crime were the best genres on cable. You know, I feel that. I feel that. You know, even to this day, you know, I feel like horror and true crime, like they're the ones that get the people buzzing. They're the ones that people are like, oh, I gotta check this out. I gotta binge this, you know, from start to finish. You know, they've always been a staple, you know, on television. You know. Now, do you have a favorite horror villain?
It's a toss up between Michael Myers and Jason, and we ain't speak about Jason yet. But Michael Myers and Jason, you know, those is my, you know, when you know you go to movie theaters and you see all those, so you can see all the, you know, special effects, slashing, and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say Michael Myers and Jason.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My two favorite villains.
So how did you feel about Jason X? Because I remember we went to the drive-in to see Jason X. You know, how did you feel about that?
I mean, it was all right. I mean, they took it a little bit too far with all them. You know what I mean? You know, Jason versus Freddy and all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, the earlier Jason movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is what I dug. Now, you know, when they went down the line with those other ones, I was like, I'm cool. I mean, even though I went to go see them and I watched them, you know what I mean? But they didn't do much for me, like, you know, the first couple, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So how did you feel about Mrs. Voorhees being the villain of the first, you know, Friday the 13th? Like, was that a shocker to the audience?
Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody thought it was something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, so Mrs. Voorhees remind me of, I told you about that movie's Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah, Mother's Day. That's another one you put me on.
Yeah. You know, because they had some female villains out there.
Oh, yeah. They had a lot.
Let's see, the Mother's Day remake with Rebecca, what's her name? Rebecca De Mornay?
Wasn't hitting for you?
No, because it wasn't, you know, It wasn't like horror to me. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh yeah, Mika says Mother's Day is crazy. I remember when the first time you showed me that one. You know that whole subgenre of the extreme, you know, revenge horror type. You know, where it was like the Last House on the Left, and you know,
Yeah, I
I
spit
Spit
on
on
your
Your Grave.
grave and all that. Yeah.
You know, it was very very
But see,
extreme.
then they went too far with those. Like I spit on grave, then I spit on your grave too, and then I spit on your grave. What is it? Revenge? Some shit. Now it's like, all right, y'all need to stop. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, but you know when
I think
they
that's why they didn't make no more of those last houses on the left.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know, when they're making money, Hollywood is just like, you know, let's churn it out again. And that's why I always say like horror is one of the backbones of Hollywood because you can make a movie for super cheap, like a couple, you know, 100,000 or less.
Yeah, because
Like
I see myself watching some of those low budget horror
uh,
movies, and some of them be good. Some of them be good though, but some of them be like, I'll be like, nah, you know, like I just watched something I watched back in the day. I thought it was cool, The Incredible Melting Man. But then
yeah.
when I rewatched it, I think I watched it maybe about 6 months ago, and I was like, damn, I was disappointed. But I guess when I was a kid, I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But when I watched it like 6 months ago, I was disappointed. I was like, yeah.
I mean, we've all had those movies like that. Like as a kid, I really loved The Curse of Michael Myers, you know. But as an adult, I rewatched it. I'm like, you know, this wasn't as good as I thought it was, you know, as a kid. You know, just certain things capture your eye. Like even with Batman, like
Yeah.
seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. You know, as a kid, I was like, oh, this is cool. Now I'm just like, what the hell is this? You know? But but yeah, it's a you know it's a lot of things that you know I guess where you are at your point in life is what is going to determine you know like you know how you receive these movies and how receptive you are to the scares and stuff like that. Because certain things that would have scared you as a kid aren't necessarily going to scare you as an adult,
Right.
you know, and it evolves you know as time goes on. You know?
Let's see, now I'll be looking for, I like them suspenseful horror movies, you know what I'm saying? I like that build up, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have a lot of that, you have they making them now, but not too much, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's why I be going like back into Shutter and all that stuff and watching them, checking out them old like, you know what I'm saying, low budget movies, you know what I'm saying, to see if I, can get into it, which a couple of them I did get into, but, a lot of them I was like, nah, I get 15 minutes into a movie and it don't catch me, I'm
Uh-huh.
turning it off, you know what I'm saying?
That's what you gotta do because you can be watching something that's gonna stimulate, you know, your psyche. You know, Mika has another question. She has any favorite horror films from this year you've enjoyed?
From this year.
Because I know we did watch X recently. You enjoyed that
X
one.
was pretty cool, but I haven't seen too many horror movies from this year other than X and the new Halloween joint.
I do know you. I told you about Barbarian. Like I'm waiting on your
Yeah,
review.
I didn't watch that yet. I said I'm gonna watch it I'm gonna watch it probably tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That and what's that other one you told me about?
Run, Sweetheart, Run,
Yeah.
which was incredible, incredible. Like I wish they would release it out on Blu-ray because I gotta own that one. I gotta
Yeah.
own that one. You
See,
know.
lately I've been into these other genres, you know what I'm saying, watching, you know, like the one I was just watching,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then I get back into my horror and I get stuck on horror for a long time, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Then I'll get into my gangster movies and I get stuck on my gangster movies for a while, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
or I
yeah,
get stuck on, what's this? Tubi, have all them,
Tubi is
black
dope.
them black movies, you know what I'm saying, inner city movies, and I'll get stuck on that for a while.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Mika says X was a good one. I have to know his thoughts after Barbarian. So I would definitely be updating, folks on your thoughts about
Yeah, I've been
Barbarian.
slipping on because you told me about Barbarian a while ago, but I've been slipping on it.
Oh yeah,
You know what
it's
I'm
one of them
saying?
ones. It's one of them ones. It's the community. Uh, they've soaked that movie up. They've soaked that movie up. It did something a little different. It's definitely something to check out. Definitely something to check out.
But there's one we ain't talked about yet. Mama. Mama scared the shit out of me too, though. You know what I'm
Mama,
saying?
was that the wolf?
No, you ain't see Mama?
Oh no, you talking about the one with the feral kids?
Yeah,
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 that one's underrated. That's underrated for me.
yeah. That was one of the ones that I ain't want my feet hanging up on the bed. None of that shit. I'm like, no, feet on the bed, covers around over me, all that. No. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah. Oh yeah. Mama was definitely one of the ones. Mika says Mama was a great one. Um, very, very underrated. Exactly. Very
What
underrated.
was that one we used to watch? What was the name of that one? The Tooth Fairy?
Oh, Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls.
That's another under. I always go up for Darkness Falls because that was another good one. That I
Yeah,
felt like didn't get its love, its appreciation.
yeah, the witch in that joint, she was crazy.
I just love how they took something so innocent, and flipped it around, because as a kid, you're like, oh, the Tooth Fairy, and I remember one day, like I think I tried to trick y'all, like I did something, and I found out like how to get the $5. Y'all put the $5 under the pillow, and I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this ain't real, this ain't real. But seeing something like Darkness Falls, I was like, oh, they took that legend and flipped it around. Like I love when they do that, and they can, just kind of twist my childhood upside down,
Yeah, because that one, even hearing her voice, you know what I mean, that sound she would make when she,
Uh-huh.
and now my mind used to play tricks on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to hear that shit. Like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? Real.
Yeah, some of them do that for you. Some of them stick with you. Like the after I watched the Babadook, I would hear that sound that the Babadook makes, for a while. Especially like
Mm-hmm.
I think around that time I had just got my first apartment, living alone, and I turned on the Babadook, and I remember waking up one day and I was like, that shit sound like the Babadook, but hopefully it's just the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's nothing that I gotta strap up for, because I'll be honest, even to this day, like, sometimes Jaleesa will be hanging out with her friends or whatever, and I'm at the crib and chilling, and I'm like, damn, do I really need to keep this light on right now? Do I really do I
Let me tell you something. When y'all came out here and I was in California by myself,
mm-hmm.
nigga, I call myself I call myself watching Pet Cemetery.
Uh-huh.
All lights coming on, The first few minutes of the movie, lights was coming on. Light, even the hallway light, everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm turning everything on. Just in case I want to go to the kitchen and get something, snack
Uh-huh.
on, everything got to be on.
Not Philly. I think I did that. I actually I forget what movie it was, but it was in my studio and I cut the light on and I left it on all night, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just have to leave the light on tonight. But when I got that bill, that was the end of that. I was like, you know what? You know what? I'm scared of these bills.
Back then, I ain't give a damn about the bill. I'm like, the lights still staying on. After the the shock of the movie went away, I was cool. But because I'm in the house by myself.
Yeah.
So any little noise, I'm like, the hell is that? You know what I mean? I'm looking around. Or I'm even getting up out the bed, walking through the hallway, checking rooms and shit, like tripping. You know what I'm saying? I done smoked a doobie. You know what I'm saying? Mind playing tricks on me. I done drunk some Hennessy. Man. You know what I mean? I'm walking through the house with aluminum baseball bat over my shoulder.
Yeah, we can say yes, the light's staying on. Sometimes it is what it is. It is what it is.
And I'm full grown adult. You know what I'm saying? I'm still like, oh, nope. Like right now, it's certain movies I would not watch by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not doing it. Like Demon Knights and Night of the Demons. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching Pet Cemetery by myself in the house. You know, so certain movies I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going, so my mind gonna go there. Straight up, my mind is definitely gonna go there.
And you know what's crazy? You bring up Demon Knight. I was reading something. Well, actually, no, I was on a podcast last night, and they were talking about how in the original cut, Jada Pinkett, she actually turns into a demon in the original cut.
Is that right?
Yeah, they decided to change it, for the theatrical release, but in the original cut, she turns into a demon, and there's footage of her and like demon prosthetics and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been something to see.
Oh yeah. But it was probably in her contract, just like it was in LL Cool J's contract. Like, I ain't going down like that. Because ain't no way you get roughed up by Michael Myers and bit by a shark and dragged, and you still hopping around.
Right.
Now, do you have a favorite final girl? The girl that made it to the end.
I'm gonna say Jada.
Jada? All right. Jada, she definitely did her thing.
Especially she was black, you know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't too many, final girls. Most of the females, the movies I used to watch was done for, you know what I mean? But like I like the revenge type movies, like I Spit on Your Grave, you know what I'm saying? That type of shit, you know what I'm saying? But as far as final girl, my favorite, it'll be Jada.
All right. That's a great choice. Mika says Jada's a good choice. I know the black girl survived. Yeah, because it wasn't a lot. It was, we had a lot of white final girls out there, but as far as black women surviving, especially to the end of the movie,
right,
being a hero, like we really didn't get a lot of that. Mika says, are you a fan of Alien or Aliens?
Yeah. Signs was a good one. I love Signs, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What's the other ones? The ones with Will Smith, I forget the name.
Independence Day.
Independence Day, but it's a lot of good alien movies. I can't even think of their names right now, you know what I'm saying? But
what about Aliens with Sigourney Weaver? How'd you feel about
the first one?
The first one?
Yeah. I mean, like, then they went to Aliens versus Predator and all that shit. Predator was a good one, but the first Aliens versus Predator, I like that one. The second one was alright, so it's like I can watch the first one again. Like the second one, even though my girl was in there, but it still didn't do it for me like the first one. Gotcha. Alien versus Predator, you know what I'm saying? But Predator is a good one, you know what I'm saying? The first one, with Arnold in, you know what I'm saying? But
did you check out Prey yet?
No.
Yeah, that's another one you gotta check out. Prey was a good one.
I didn't check out Prey yet.
Yeah, that was.
And that's on
That's on Hulu.
Hulu, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause that's back in damn near what the cave days and shit, or some shit like that.
Nah, they ain't go that far, but it's like indigenous. You seeing like an indigenous tribe, and seeing how they would deal with the predator,
The bow and arrows and shit.
Yeah, yeah. It was hard. It was hard. It was like I really need them to release a physical release for that one as well. You know. But you thank you for joining me tonight, answering my questions. I
I
got one more
appreciate
question
you.
for you, before we end the session. If you could spend a day in the life of your favorite of like a favorite horror villain, so whether it be like a person, a spirit, a creature, anything, you can spend 24 hours as this person or creature, who would it be?
Mm. It might be Freddie. Cause Freddie be fucking with motherfuckers, and I be fucking with a lot of motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? That be fucking with me all my life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, getting in their dreams. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Freddie.
Okay, I was not expecting you to say Freddie. See Freddie, so you can be petty, basically.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It'd be some shit to get in somebody's dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That'll be it for me. You know what I'm saying, Freddie?
I got you.
Because especially, you know what I mean, on some revenge shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, remember you did that shit? You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
I have a list of motherfuckers. I'll be in their dreams. You know what I'm saying? For real.
But thank you for joining me again. It was fun. Getting to know your answers and getting to know a little bit more about your love for horror. This was definitely dope. Especially you being my dad and the one to get me into the genre.
Yeah, I appreciate that you got into it the way you did. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I never thought my kids would, even Lil, you know what I mean? I never thought my kids, Tiffany not so much, but I never thought my boys would, follow my love of horror, you know what I'm saying? But, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I follow some of y'all shit too, though. Like, y'all done got me into DC Comics and all that shit, so I'm into all that shit, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
anything DC or Marvel, I got to see it, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, again, thank you for, chopping it up tonight. And thank you to everybody, stopping by in the chat.
I
Mika says,
appreciate you having me here.
such a great conversation. Thank you to Natasha for stopping by. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Jaleesa, Soothe and Smooth for stopping by. Everybody for hanging out with us tonight. But yeah, hopefully we can get you on something, in the future,
Oh,
chat.
most definitely, most definitely. Maybe we could do some panel type shit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That
You
that
know,
would that would definitely be dope. Mika says, I love that you both share love for the genre. It's in the blood, Mika. It's in the
yeah, most definitely.
but yeah, thank you to everybody for checking out another episode of Evil Live. We will be back Monday where we will be chatting it up with Horror in the City, about their love for the genre as well. But everybody enjoy the rest of their night. Keep it spooky and peace, love, and horror. Peace out, everybody. All right, all right.